Temporary ceasefire in Gaza has brought scenes of unbridled joy in the middle of a relentless tragedy. 50 Israeli hostages are finally being released by Hamas. 150 Palestinian prisoners and trucks carrying much-needed aid are moving in the opposite direction. For some of the families of the Hamas hostages, it's the end of an unbearable, agonising wait. Thomas Hand's daughter Emily turned 9 during her 50 days in captivity. His emotional interviews have made the trauma of the hostage families feel tangible for those of us who can only begin to imagine the appalling, horrifying grief. This is the moment they were finally reunited. A wonderful end to a story that could have ended so much worse, and indeed that was the fate that poor father assumed had happened. Well, a 2-day extension to the ceasefire means more reunions and more aid, but it also means more difficult questions for Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu is very clear that war will resume with full force as soon as this pause is over. He's far less clear about what happens after that. Israel's pounded Gaza for weeks now. 77% of the entire population has been displaced. Half are in shelters where 700 people share a single shower. The scale of the destruction is beyond comprehension, and Israel says it won't stop until Hamas has been eradicated. But quite clearly, Hamas still runs Gaza. It's Hamas who are negotiating the release of the hostages and dictating the terms of that release. It's Hamas who says that more than 14,000 people in Gaza have been killed. Israel claims that figure includes thousands of terrorists, but where is the hard evidence to support that claim? Where is the evidence that terrorists have simply not disappeared underground or hidden themselves among innocent civilians who headed south? Where is the plan for the future of Gaza? Where do these people go back and live if all their homes have been destroyed? Netanyahu has ruled out a return for the Palestinian Authority, hinted that Israeli occupation might be the answer.
I think Israel will, for an indefinite period, will have the overall security responsibility, because we've seen what happens when we don't have it. When we don't have that security responsibility, what we have is the eruption of Hamas terror on a scale that we couldn't imagine.
This is dangerous territory for Israel. It has a rapidly narrowing window of legitimacy in Gaza. President Biden is under pressure from his supporters to speed up the end of the fighting, and America won't accept a prolonged occupation. Israel told Palestinians to move south in Gaza to escape the bombing. Now it says it'll bomb the south too. This bloodshed cannot continue without proof there's a plan beyond the total destruction of Gaza. I've been picked up this weekend by people reminding me of tweets from 2014. Back then, Israel launched a massive bombardment of Gaza in response to the murder of 3 Israeli teenagers in the West Bank. What happened? I'm asked. Why did I change my position? Well, I haven't changed my position. Israel committed atrocities in 2014, in my estimation. It was a completely disproportionate response to what had happened. It looked more like revenge to me than a military strategy, and President Obama told them to call it off. Well, during that bombardment, I asked at what point does Israel's current military strategy become the very terrorism it professes to be fighting? And today, I'm beginning to ask myself that exact same question.